Hey folks, it's Ben back with you in the Midwest model shop. I have not cleaned my desk up all the way here, but that's all right. So in today's episode of the Fletcher, we're going to go ahead and address the rest of my kind of little debacle with the uh, railing system that's like inboard on the ship there on the main deck. And you're going to see a summary of three approaches. Gluing it on right on top of the deck, kind of like they're supposed to, augering it out like I did in the previous one. And then in today's episode, because I ran into trouble, you'll see, I'll explain, I'm going to do the drilling the hole method. You'll see what I'm talking about. We'll assemble the Oerlikon cannons. I think I skipped that previously. If I didn't, it's a little repeat. You'll see how to put those four together. I'll show you an up close of the Oerlikon cans that are included in the Fletcher gun kit if you're not familiar. And then we're going to assemble the practice loader. I believe that's what it's called. It looks like a funny crane. I'd like some of you folks to comment down below. I haven't looked up or researched what is this practice loader. Why do they need to practice? Why is it so big? I guess there's a variety of reasons why you would need to, but feel free to let me know down below. And then we'll just take a look at the progress of the ship thus far, because I'm running out of time for the weekend. But we're getting towards the end here, I hope. Not too much left. I'd like to wrap this up pretty soon. So that's it. Thank you everyone who's liked and subscribed. Thank you to everyone who's gone to the MidwestModelShop.com and made a purchase. Lots of people are buying things lately. And super huge thanks and shout out to everyone on Patreon. I really do appreciate all of your support. Okay, into the build. Well, here we are back in action again. So I decided we need to start filling in kind of these little details midship here. And for reasons kind of following up on last time, I was like, well, let's go ahead and install this railing, which maybe wasn't such a good idea yet because I do have to reach in behind here. I'm going to have to do that with some tweezers. But if you recall from last episode, I kind of had, was it last episode? A couple ago, I made a mistake and I had lost my routing for the railing along here. And so I went ahead and scribed it out, and we have it, installed here, and it's okay on the port side. Starboard side, though, man, I had trouble. It didn't go well, and I ended up applying some putty, not very well, and just filling it back in just to get back to kind of zero. So, one of the thoughts that I had prior to doing the groove was, and also I want to give credit to a viewer, he made the same comment, so this is just not my alone idea here, was what if you take the railing and what if you cut off this bottom rail and you drilled little holes just shallow enough for all the posts to go into. And I thought that might be the solution to over here, because now I have another hull because I've got a few of these ships, and this is the line that you're supposed to follow, and I've for when I get to this build, I've already gone ahead and elongated the grooves and made them a little bit more serious so that I can have them. And I know what you're saying, well, Ben, I don't have a second hull to follow. I know, but you do have your first hull, and hopefully you're watching this prior to working on it. And so what I would do is I would scribe that out ahead of time. So what I'm going to do is carefully set this on place here, following my little pattern. I'm going to get a pencil, and I'm going to put a mark everywhere that there should be a post, right, going into the deck. And I'm going to try and do that as accurately as possible. And then what we'll do is I'm going to come back with a piece of paper, follow this cutout, transfer my marks so that we can then go back up to the hull here and put down in position, hopefully, approximately where our holes are going to go to drill into the deck and put this into place. We're going to try that, right? So what you have back here is this is the railing is sitting on the deck, basically. It's right on top, and you can see the bottom line. This railing back here is recessed. You can still see my line, but it's far less obvious. And so over here what we're going to do is try the drilling the hole option. So that'll be like stage 3, right? And the reason I went with the grooves I may change my mind down the road, we'll see, but if you get these down all the way, it would be very easy to come back with some putty and very carefully fill this in and smooth it off and fill the gap in, or maybe using some black super glue. Where's mine? You can try this stuff. It's black CA glue, and it doesn't dry like too hard, and you're able to sand it when you're done and get a better finish on things. So anyway, that's kind of the option. So I'm going to get my piece of paper and do the transfer like we talked about, and we'll come back to that and see how that plays out. All right, so here's my little pattern that hopefully makes sense, and I had to make a little cutout to accommodate for the chalk there, and we're going to set it down so it looks to be right. And I'm going to put a little dot. The big risk is that I'll drill a hole and, whoops, I don't like the way that drifted. We want to be right here. That I'll be off, I think, left to right, not so much front to back. Because the issue is going to be that the posts, they'll go in, but they'll end up leaning. Okay. So I think I made those right. Sorry, it's a little fuzzy there. You can see the dots. And now I'm going to have to drill a little hole and hope I've gone pretty straight. I'll double check, and then we'll see what we can do here. All right, I've double checked. We've got our bit. And now the key is going to be, I just want to make a dent. I don't want to go deep. And normally in woodworking or some other project, you would put a piece of tape on your drill bit to check the depth. We don't really have that luxury. All right, see the putty there coming out? This is my old gap. And I had to double check my dots and move them. This is looking like it's going to be okay. It's a little shallow. Because the most next tricky part, oh man, this one's tough because my drill bit's getting bumped by the searchlight platform on the funnel above it. All right. So you get the idea. Oh man, get out of the fuzz here. You get the idea, right? We're trying to make those holes be the same depth, because the next difficult thing is going to be trimming off the bottom photo etch and leaving exactly the right amount. So let me go ahead and finish drilling these holes, and then we'll fiddle with the photo etch. All right, I'm going to try and do this in a way that you can see things. So now that this is done, or my holes are drilled, we need to remove this bottom rung, right? And this is going to be interesting because then the only stability will come from this top rail, and these posts will be flying around the wind. So this is going to be fragile and not necessarily recommended. What you can do is you can come in with a knife, carefully push down, and you'll cut away that rung, right? Straight down, and we're okay. I might try that. I have these, they're like Xeron is the name here, I think. Yeah. These are photo etch cutters. I'm going to try them. And they do have a flat side. That cut very easily. So whatever you think is necessary, we got to remove all those. So let's get them out and then see where we're at. Alright, so that's cut. one of the things you got to worry about is that you get everything off the bottom and it's as straight as possible. Otherwise, if your hole's too small, it won't drop in. So if we pivot up here, I've already kind of tried to see like, well, how's this going to work? So the next thing to do is to put it up here and see if any of the holes line up, and they're pretty close. So I think the best way to handle this is going to be to put a drop of CA glue on each one of these posts and just kind of very slowly but surely move along and install each one and glue it into position. So that's what we'll do here next. Okay, I've started by just putting these first two in some CA glue. And we're just going to set it into position. We're going to try to set it into position. There we go. And we're going to see if we can't just get a bite in a spot to like hold it into position. And already I could tell, looks like we got these two holes a little bit too close together just by the tiniest bit. So there's a little bit of a lean, but I think that'll be okay when we're done here. All right. See how that's the one on the left here is a little bit in. That's kind of a bummer, but what are you going to do? So now, and these holes are a little bit big. I'm worried about having a little post hole look around it when I'm done. And we'll bring the next one in. This might require a little bit of cleanup when we're done. It's either going to, it's going to work. I could see already right now this is working. How well is it going to work? We'll find out here in just a second. I guess is what we'll do here. So let me we'll keep kind of working our way along here. There we go. We'll get them all set up here. So anyway, let's keep working along like that and take a look at the end result. Well, it's installed. It went okay. In the front here, I was way off and I had to move two of these holes further forward, so I'm going to have to fill some in. Probably looks a little crooked. That's because there is a bend in the shape of the rails that is supposed to be there. I did okay. This went okay. It's installed. It's there. It looks nice, ish. There's definitely no line underneath here, right? We clearly have deck. So the issue becomes, can I fill in where the stanchions, posts, if you will, go in nicely? What's it going to look like when I paint it? This look, especially from here, is significantly better, in my opinion, than back here where you could see it underneath. But this is a lot easier to do. The groove method, where we're kind of filling in and dropping in, is even easier, but then you have the problem with like back here, like what if it didn't go down all the way? This one was my best attempt, and this one turned out, I think the best over here on this side, with doing the groove and dropping it down in and kind of filling above underneath. And then here we have, once again, just doing the post holes. So I'm going to call them post holes just to keep things simple so we know what we're talking about here. They're probably stanchions. So I think what I'm going to have to say about this is if you want to do this, you'll probably end up with the most realistic and best result. But it's very difficult. And I think that key to this will be ahead of time, before you put any of the deck on or you monkey around with any of this stuff, you need to pre-drill your holes, like when the deck's at this stage. Mark them out, drill your holes, right? And then put them in. Accuracy's super important. I probably should have gotten some dividers out and measured the specific distance between these points, right? Started with one hole, put my divider and very precisely marked the next position. And I could have done that. It would have taken some time. Definitely easier again when the deck is like this and it's just sitting there. You know, you could get it really right, and it would be less fuss. So, all right, I think that marks the end of this part of the journey. Let's get some paint on here and press on with other parts. Okay, so we'll start putting some of these miscellaneous items on. There's a davit that attaches right here, and this is kind of its stowed position up against the bulkhead on the aft boat deck here. I don't know, yeah, I don't think we have one on the other side, but that goes in right there, and it's just a nice little piece. All right, and then we'll move forward midship. All right, and then this, I believe, is a vent. You guys can comment down below with which one. I have the books and resources to mostly find these things, but it takes a lot of monkeying around. So we're just going to make sure here. Let's try and get it straight up and down as best as we can. All right, that's a little bit better. Okay, moving forward. Well, and if you turn it, you can see it's got a nice little hook shape to it, so that's good. All right, and then I don't think this is a vent, technically. Might be like an intake. Let's get this stuck up against the hull here. I do want it to, it's got a little bend, and I want that bend perpendicular to the bulkhead here. Kind of want to do like that, right? Okay, we'll let that set up. It should be good. I like that. That'll work out, I think. Well, I'm going to change my mind about what I said earlier. I was painting while we did the other stuff. On the other side, I painted the deck and came over here and did the railing and let everything dry. And look at that. And it was not very hard to fill in the holes. Now, up close, the details are not that great. But I'm going to be honest here, folks. I put minimal effort into this in my opinion about what I know I can and can't do. Time, energy, and effort. Very little effort into this. So if I had applied myself, I think we potentially could have had an even better outcome with that fence posting versus this line that you've got and everything you see back here, and then you go to this. Right? So this way is hard. If you use your head and apply yourself, the outcome is totally worth it. All right, so now the couple of little details. I was trying to get all the little mundane parts out of the way, and I feel like we're there. So we're going to go to the middle here, midship, and we're going to go ahead and assemble our practice loader for gun shells, for like 5-inch shells, I guess. I think. I'm not really familiar with the practice loader. I was blown away that there is a practice loader, that you would practice loading things. Maybe I'm saying that all wrong. Either way, we're going to go ahead and assemble the part from the kit. All right, here are the pieces for our practice loader. 2 photo etch, I guess 3 styrene, right? So we'll start with this piece, which I pre-bent, and it goes like that. So we'll put it in a little bit of CA glue, and as you can see, once again, as I bump stuff, and I'll move it over here, I've laid the loader on its side, and we're going to try to utilize our friend gravity. That groove may not be quite deep enough here, but we're going to try and use our friend gravity to help hold our part into place while the glue sets up. I'm going to put a little more on here. That'll work. We'll just let it set like this. Now, this gets a little tricky. The next piece actually goes right here and will hang off. And there's a groove for it, so I may have to support it a little bit more. Let's see here. While that glue sets up. There we go. Like this. And we'll let that dry. And this loader, I think the detail is fairly reasonable. You got some photo etch, you got some different parts. It is an approximation of the real thing. Is it accurate though? Well, no, it's not. So we'll release a 3D printed version that's like way more detailed and a lot more interesting to look at for something that, again, in the comments, please help me out. I mean, I know it's called a practice loader, so I'm presumably you're going to practice loading shells into a gun with it. I guess I'm not comprehending why at this point, when you've gone to sea, you would need to practice this. Well, I guess so. You drill with everything, right? But I'm thinking wartime, that you would be kind of like up to par. But maybe not. Maybe this is something that it's important. Everybody needs to practice. I don't know. I'd love to hear from someone in the comments, all of you, because you all have different opinions about why they did this. All right, so now basically this last piece is our other side. It's going to drop in like that. So doing this here, we'll put a little dab of glue right in here. And I'll just run a little along the bottom. More like that. There we go. All right. And there's your loader. And it's actually a pretty big piece. So let's see, it's going to go midship here. So you can see there's a little bit of an angle in the cutout of the deck. Whoop. It's not going to sit down for me. It's going to sit in there approximately like so. And there you go. It's a neat little piece. And then we've got our 4 Oerlikon cannons that go on either side of it right there. We should probably make those up as well. And then we can paint everything. Well, I don't remember if I showed putting these together or I just did the end part, but this is the kit Oerlikons. This is typical of trumpeter. If you have the Iowa or Missouri, you're going to have to build a lot of these things, and they can be a little bit frustrating. The detail is okay. I mean, it's something. It's not great, right? But you get these two parts. So what you have to decide for consistency's sake, because the instructions are very poor, is where are you going to put this little blast shield? I'm trying to think of a better way to show you this. So there are a couple of marks and points along the barrel, and what you need to decide is where are you going to glue your blast shield on. And I like to use this little, there's a little bump right there. Can you see that? And I go to this point right here, and this is where I attach it. And you want to make sure that whatever you do, you pick the same location, you know, in front of it, after it. If you want to set this on top or you want to change things or whatever you do, just pick the same location every single time, right? Also, don't put a camera in front of yourself and all your things that you have here and try and attach it that way either. That is poor technique and does not lend itself to success. Ask me how I know. but we're going to go ahead and try. So I'm just going to glob a bunch of CA glue on here. And, yep. Go ahead and you see the gun and come up here and kind of stick it. And then we're going to turn it upside down. Again, gravity. You can blow on it a little bit. Your breath obviously has moisture in it, and the moisture is a natural accelerator for the CA glue, because this stuff sets up in, I think I got 3 to 5 seconds or something like that. I'm trying to lean this back just a little bit. I want a slight rake. All right, and then I'm just checking for plumb. You know, I want it to lean back a little bit. I want it to look straight. It's looking at you, and not be wobbly all over the place. So that's not bad. That's one. And once you've made one, whoops, I keep bumping things that are in the way. Whoops. Okay. Once you've made one and you're happy with it, you're good. And you only have to make 6 of these on this kit. It's not a terrible project. It's not like you have to make 48 of them or anything like that. Do I offer an alternative? Yes. If you have not seen in the basic gun set, here are the Oerlikon cannons that I produce. They are copies of the ones from Pontos. But once you put all the photo etch together, this is what they look like with all the supports. So you cut away a few of the supports. This is what the gun looks like. You'll have obviously some extra details there. Your iron. These are iron sight versions. And I didn't clean this one up very well. I just got it together to look right. And yeah. So you could cut these out, paint it up, and drop it into position instead of the kit one. So what I got to do now is make 4 more of these and then get them painted. And I got to get them to match. And then we'll drop them into position along with our loader. Well, all right. We have done some painting, so we will do some gluing now. I kept the loader's deal here simple. Leaving it at an angle like that, I think that is sufficient. Adds to that spot. It's nice, right? Then we have the issue of the Oerlikon cannons. So they're painted up just like I did the other ones up on the front. Hopefully you can see that, right? And yeah, that's what they are. So let's take this one. Man, I hope some of the holes inside of the ship's base here need a little reaming out. I'll find out if this is one of them. No, it fits. No, I'll go like this. So we'll just put it facing straight out like that, right? And we can come down in here. So that looks good. I did say, so I went and painted up one of my 3D printed Oerlikons, and I kind of botched up the iron sight. It got a little clogged up on me, but there you can see it. And we'll set that next to it just for a moment here so you can get a look at what it would look like comparison-wise. And I made it just so that it doesn't have a post. You're just snipping it off right here at that base like that. So hang on to it so it doesn't go sailing off. You got it in your hands, and we'll set it down right here just so you can take a look. All right, we'll try this one more time. I put a little piece of double-sided tape down here. Of course, that means I got to push it. There we go. Okay, so now you've got the two guns. And I guess my point here is, yeah, they're different, but they're not terribly different, right? I mean, in principle, it all kind of is working out to be looking pretty close to the same thing. So that's that. All right, so that being said, I'm going to go ahead and we'll drop down the other two guns on the back side. Okay, I did remove that one. Now we just got to put in one of the regular guns. There we go. So there's your two kit parts. Now we got to do, that's port, starboard next. All right, so over here now, what do we got? Starboard. Just a glob of glue. Get one of my Oerlikons. That in. One more. And we've got our last one. Put it like that. Might have to do a little paint touch up here and there, but I think that looks good. That's the idea, right? Okay, so I think that's going to take care of this middle section here, midship. And I think that, whoop, a little crazy there. We're probably going to call it quits for now because we're kind of getting to the, well, I'm out of time. That's another factor here. We have some little details, not much to go in up here. We do need to move forward and put in our lifeboats. That's going to be, well, lifeboats is not the right word, the ship's boats. We have some life rafts and assemblies and some photo etch that go up forward. And then obviously the guns, the main guns to the ship. And because I started in the back and didn't work forward, we've got a few things that go up here on the bow. I didn't want to knock over. And last but not least, we definitely have the railing that runs along the whole ship. Not to mention, there's like a, we'll call it like a splinter shield or something that gets installed right here that needs to go in, I think, after we install the ship's boats and everything like that. But this is where we're at so far. This all is now looking, I think, pretty sharp. Like, I mean, just, okay, like doing a slow pan here, but if we move some of the stuff in the background and we just kind of go, it's looking really nice. I mean, that's a fun piece, right? And we've got a lot of things going on, and we'll place emphasis on the back here because that's where we start out. But if you come in a little bit closer and you just bring it in, you're starting to see a lot of cool stuff happening. So, all right, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this episode helped out. The battery is dying on the camera. I hope everyone has a great weekend. It is time to go. See you next time.